Welcome back to Utah Stories. I'm here with Ryan Westwood, who's the CEO of Fullcast. He just got seeded $34 million of capital for his startup. It's not his first startup, but he's now going to talk about how is it you go out and get financing and funding for your big idea. So Ryan, how do you do it? What would you say are the steps? Could anybody with a great idea approach venture capital or angel investors in the right way and be able to get financed?
I'm going to take a very unorthodox approach to answer this question. The way I raised venture capital the first time is I got in the community and added value. So there was an organization that now is 30 plus years old. It's been absorbed by Silicon Slopes, called the Utah Venture Entrepreneur Forum, UVEF. I volunteered. I helped out, eventually got on the board in a volunteer role, eventually became the chair of the board. And the board was made up of all the VCs in Utah. And I ran the organization.
Was this before you had financing?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I never had any
You were still
financing.
doing vending machines?
No, at this point it was PCS, and it was angel. I had one angel investor in Idaho, a fantastic guy. And that was it.
So you were just, I'm here to help.
Yeah, I
What
was
can I
just
do?
there to help. How can I contribute?
That's great.
And contribute to the greater ecosystem. And I meant it, and I focused on it. And the venture capitalists that were on that board saw that I was focused, that I executed, that I did what I said I would do, that I was honest. And when it came time in my startup to raise capital, every one of them was interested.
That's
And
quite cool.
I didn't go around and pitch to them and try to convince them that the idea made sense. What I did is I contributed to the community, contributed to them, and then they thought, a lot of seed stage investing, entrepreneurs forget that although the idea is very important, the most major component to all of it is the entrepreneur. Later on, you're judged specifically by your metrics. But at that seed stage, if the entrepreneur can't look you, or the venture capitalist can't look the entrepreneur in the eye and say, all right, I trust this person. This person seems resilient, focused, then they're not going to seed you. And so ultimately, a lot of what people miss is that it's more of a judgment on you than your company at that stage.
Okay. So how many people did you have working for you when you did go out and try to get seed capital from other than the angel investor?
Man, we did. It was interesting. We got a line of credit on our mortgage on a mortgage on our house. We probably had 25 employees working for us and a couple million in revenue.
Okay.
And then the biggest check we had come in from an institutional investor, it was $2 million. And it was Kent Madsen and Epic Ventures. And he did quite well on that investment, and is now the one leading the round in Fullcast.
Nice.
And so you do right by people, you deliver returns. I had a student at the U ask me this year, when do you give up on your startup? And my answer was that entire mentality is wrong. And if you take capital, your job is to return it. And you don't give up until you deliver.
Yeah.
My business models have iterated 3, 4, 5 times at my companies. Early stages of startups are not pretty. They're not well defined.
Yeah.
You're finding your way through a lot of difficulties. There's a lot of traps. You have to just be resilient. If I were to describe, people look at my track record and like, wow, those are a lot of successes. But in high school, I saw 7 times the movie with Vin Diesel. What was the car racing?
Fast and Furious.
Fast and Furious. I don't know why I saw it that many times. I've never seen anything like it since. But when I saw it, there's a line where he says that whether you win by an inch or a mile, you win. I've been winning by inches a lot.
Yeah.
I just outlast people and outwork them and win by inches. And so a lot of times people look at the track record and it looks really beautiful, but they've all been by inches.
Really? Yeah. What would you say is the biggest challenge you ever faced in terms of getting your startup off the ground?
Oh, gosh. That I could answer for hours and give you dozens of answers. But there are many moments. I'll give you one moment in particular. One moment we had a company that I will let go unnamed buy servers from us. And then Amex let them charge them back. So they kept physical hardware. They charged it back and swept the money out of our account.
Oh my gosh.
And the hard lesson I learned as an entrepreneur was it could take me 90 days to appeal and get tens of thousands of dollars back. They locked the servers up, they kept them, and they kept their money.
Holy cow.
And it's like robbery. But Amex immediately said, sure, gave them their money back. Didn't do any investigation at whether they actually physically had the equipment. They had it, and I woke up one morning to find out our bank account was empty and payroll was in 2 days.
Golly.
And it was going to be the death of the company. And this is what I mean by winning by inches. We keep having to just put in that extra effort most people won't put in, and that's why you're successful. Most people don't want to hear it. When it's like, why is he successful and why am I not? It's usually because a few people gave him a hand up and they were able to outlast and not give up when everyone else would give up.
Yeah.
This is a moment where I think most people give up.
So how
You're out of money.
how did you solve that problem?
So
payroll in 2 days.
Sat down with
no
my
money.
brother and a few other people, and we were like, okay, what can we do? What are the solutions? Writing down credit cards, all kinds of scrappy solutions.
How much was your payroll? Do you remember?
It was $20-something thousand at the time. I think it was 28 payroll.
Wow.
It's every 2 weeks. And I found this company, this customer. When we were brainstorming, they said, you know what? They want to buy a bunch of equipment. I wonder if we could get them to pay up front and get the check in the bank in time for payroll. So I went out to the job site where they were building out this facility and they were going to buy this equipment from us. Found the owner of the business, found him sitting in his truck, startled him, convinced him to sit on the back of the truck bed with me. We talked. He said, I can't print checks. I told him, look, I'm desperate. I need help. He wrote a personal check. I ran to the bank, delivered the check. Next morning, walked into work, cool as a cat. Payroll ran. The employees knew, they had no idea.
Really?
But
That's
ultimately, that's where in a startup, there's several times where you could die, or it's highly likely that you're going to die. And if we're really being truthful around it, you have to be almost stupid positive.
Yeah.
To do it because the odds are so stacked against you. And so I could tell in every startup I've been in, I could tell you 3 times when we were supposed to die and we should have died, quite honestly. But we didn't because we won't let that happen.
Yeah. And I think a big part of it that a lot of people don't understand is you got to be able to withstand so much pressure and be cool under pressure.
Yes.
You can't just wither under pressure.
No.
And so if you're going to take on an angel investor or seed capital, it seems like the most important thing is you got to be prepared for some violent storms and turbulence because people back out, people change their mind, people ignore contracts, people don't pay, whatever.
Yes.
We've seen it all. And
it will kill you.
Yeah, it will. It'll like destroy your hope in humanity.
It will.
We go through that every probably year or 6 months. And then you got to think, but people, there's so many good people
Yep.
But there's also so many nasty people who will
Yes. Take
will screw
advantage of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
To elaborate on that, I have to say that you do have to be extremely resilient to be a successful entrepreneur. And I was fortunate to have an upbringing that made that possible. I had parents that were passionate about my well-being. I grew up on a farm where I had to be patient, work really hard, and learn a lot from my grandfather.
That's cool.
I learned a lot from a lot of great people, and that's why I was able to withstand it. So again, fortunate.
Yeah.
I'm fortunate to have had that background to be able to be and have the opportunities that I have.
I found that a lot of good, hard-working people grew up on farms. I hear that a lot from the hardest working people.
I think there's a couple reasons. One is you have to be patient. You have to work hard. And two, you'll do anything not to end up back there.
What kind of farm was it?
It was all the above. I mean, we had chickens, cows.
Yeah.
We did it all.
That's cool.
Hey,
Well, thanks for your time, Brian. It's been great talking to you.
thanks
I'm
for
sure
having
we
me.
could go on a lot longer, so we'll have to have you back.
Okay, great. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
All right.
All right, and if you want to be a bigger part of Utah Stories, go subscribe to our free digital newsletter at utahstories.com. That's where we can have the voice of local Utah delivered right to your inbox once a week, every week. Also, share this episode with a friend, give it a thumbs up, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.